in this small section, we're going to cover SMBGhost Windows 10 vulnerability. Since there is no module available for the Metasploit framework regarding this vulnerability, we are going to need to exploit it manually. And by manually, I mean we will have to find a working exploit ourselves, run it ourselves, and redirect the connection to our Kali Linux machine ourselves. All of these tasks Metasploit framework did for us automatically, and since we can't really rely on tools, we're going to learn through this Windows 10 vulnerability how we can do all of that ourselves. Now, the vulnerability that we're exploiting is rather new. I believe it got disclosed in June 2020, and for this we will need to install Windows 10 virtual machine. Not all versions are vulnerable since it got patched, so we will have to install a vulnerable version of Windows 10 machine. Since this as well is an SMB vulnerability, we won't need any additional software to run on our target machine for this exploit to work, which makes it even more dangerous, just like the previous two vulnerabilities, which were Eternal Blue and the Blue Keep, but they were attacking Windows 7. This one attacks Windows 10. All our target needs to have is port 445 open and some previous version of Windows 10. The exact vulnerable version that we are looking for is either Windows 10 1903 or Windows 10 1909. So you will need ISO file as usual to create this machine, and both of these versions are vulnerable to the SMBGhost attack. Let me show you right now where we can download a previous version of Windows 10 ISO file. And by the way, we will be using this Windows machine in the next section as well to test the payloads that we will create. But more about that later on. For now on, let's focus on creating our virtual environment for this attack. So what you want to do first is you want to navigate to this rufus.ie website, and this software right here that we're going to download is used to create bootable USB drives with the ISO files. Now, you might be asking, well, why are we going to need this? We're not going to boot into our computer over USB drive, we are installing a virtual machine, and that is true. But this software also offers us to download some previous versions of Windows 10 operating system. That's why you want to go down here, click on this Rufus 3.11 and download the file. It is the size of 1.1 megabyte. Once you download it, you should be having this file right here on the desktop. Double click on that file and it will ask for the administrator password. You want to click on yes or type in the password. And right here where we want to go is this arrow next to the select button. Now here's a small advice. Sometimes this arrow right here will not appear, and it actually didn't appear to me once I downloaded the software for the first time. So what I did is I tried restarting this program several times, so just close this, open this again, close it and open it again. That might work, and what also might work is going right here to the application settings and changing this check for updates. Then click on close, restart the program, and eventually this arrow right here should appear. Once it appears, click on it and click on download. And once you select the download, click on download once again, and this will start running download script. In just a few seconds, you should have this small window pop up. Here we want to select what operating system we want to download. If I click on here, it will ask me if I want Windows 8 or Windows 10. I want to select Windows 10, click on continue. In the next step, it will ask me which exact release do I want to select, and right here we want to go with this one, which is 19H1 build 18362.356, and it says right here the date is 2019 September or 9th month. So click on this right here, then click on continue. You can select Windows 10 Home, click on continue here as well. Language we can leave on English. And the last step, which is architecture, we can leave on x64. Then you can click on download right here, or you can download using a browser. If you simply just click on download, it will open the file explorer, and here you can pick where you want to save it on your desktop. Keep in mind that the size of the file is around 5 GB, so this will take some time. Since I already have it downloaded, I will not be downloading it again. For you, just wait for the download to finish and you should have a Windows 10 ISO file ready. Make sure that you pick the exact same version that I did right here, and once all of that is finished, you can close this program. The next step is to install Windows 10 virtual machine. So I already got one running right here, and for you, you can do it the same way that we did with any other machine, so just type Windows 10, select right here Microsoft Windows, Windows 10 64-bit, click on Next, choose 2 GB of RAM, or choose the same amount of RAM that you used for the Windows 7, click on Next. Here we want to create a virtual hard disk. All of these steps we can next. Here I got 25 GB in my case, and you can choose whatever you want right here, and this will create your virtual machine. Now, since I already have it, I will delete it, but before I delete it, another 2 settings that you want to choose is, as we did with the Windows 7 machine, under the storage, under the empty, you want to remove, and you want to add the Windows 10 ISO file, which I have right here. The next setting that you want to change is from NAT to bridged adapter. Once you do all of that, you can start the process of installing Windows 10. Now, there is not any important step in Windows 10 installation, so you can do it however you want. But just a pro tip, once it gets to the part where it asks you for the account creation, where you need to specify an email address and all of that, you can skip that part by unplugging your device from the internet, and then it will allow you to create an offline Windows account, so you won't need to create an email for the Windows 10 account. All of the other steps are not important, you can do them as you like, and once you do all of that, you can start your Windows 10 machine. Another thing that we need to do to get our Windows 10 machine fully ready for this attack is to disable the firewall. So go down here, type Control Panel, and the way we disable it on Windows 10 is the same way that we disable it on Windows 7. So click on Control Panel right here, click on System and Security, click on Windows Defender Firewall, and turn it off in this button right here, which says Turn Windows Defender Firewall on or off. Mine is currently off. Once you do that, everything is ready and you should be good to go for the next video, where we are going to try to search for the exploit for this particular attack. Welcome back. And now that we got our Windows 10 machine set up, we want to perform a vulnerability scan real quick to see whether it is vulnerable, and then I will show you a tool that we can use to crash the target system. So first of all, open up both of your Cal Linux and Windows 10 machines. Right here I ran the ipconfig command to check out the IP address of the Windows 10 machine, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan it real quick just to see what ports it has open and whether our setup was correct from the previous video. Okay, great. We got the port 445 open. That is all we need. Now, I have also performed a Nessus vulnerability scan this morning on Windows 10 machine, and for some reason it didn't manage to find this SMBGhost vulnerability. Now, that could be some type of a bug, maybe, perhaps, since if I type locate and then the vulnerability name, which is CVE-2020-0796, and this is just the name for this particular vulnerability, and I type enter, here it will find the path to the Nessus with the module for that vulnerability. So it seems that it has a plugin for that vulnerability and it should be able to discover it, but once again, for me personally, it didn't manage to find it. You can try it out. You know right now how to use Nessus, so just open it up, open your Windows 10 machine, and run a scan in Nessus on your Windows 10 machine, and see if you can come up with this vulnerability from there. But what we want to do right now is we want to copy this name, and we want to go to the Firefox. Since, remember, this is something that we do not have in Metasploit framework, we must find the exploit ourselves. Once the Firefox opens up, paste the vulnerability name right here, and I will just type it real quick, so 2020-0796. And we can add GitHub. Let us check out whether there are some available tools on GitHub repository. So we got a few responses right here. And what we want to go with first is the vulnerability scanner. And what I mean by vulnerability scanner is we want a tool that will tell us whether the target machine is vulnerable to this attack without crashing or exploiting it. So I will go to this link right here, and it seems that this is the tool that we need. It says the vulnerability name, scanner.py, identifying and mitigating the CVE 2020-0796 flaw in the fly. So let's check it out. Let's copy the name of this vulnerability. Then we will go to our desktop and we will git clone that repository to our desktop directory. Once it finishes downloading, we can type ls. Here it is, right here. Let's change directory to there by typing cd, and let's see which files we have. So we have only this scanner.py file. So it is a Python file. Let us go to this page and just check real quick whether it is a Python 2 or 3 program, and by the usage that we can see right here, it seems that it is a Python 3 program. So let's test it out. If I go right here, check out the IP address of Windows 10 machine. For me it is 192.168.1.5. Let's run the program, Python 3, and then type the IP address. Well, we get a response that we wanted. It says right here, vulnerable. Great. Now we can test other tools that will crash and exploit the target. First, I want to show you a tool that you can use to just crash the target. And with this tool, we don't need anything else besides the IP address of the target machine. So you can crash any target just by knowing its IP address. So if I go all the way down, you will see this GitHub link. It is from Gian Sitting, and it has the name of our vulnerability. If I go right here, we can see we got a few files. Once again, this is a Python tool. Under here, we got the usage, so we got a demo GIF. Here we can see the command that he is running. And if we go right here and copy the tool, and once again, we can go to our desktop and git clone the tool name, the link, paste right here, wait for the download to finish, and if I type ls, we now have two directories. This one is the scanner, and this one is the one that we just downloaded. So let's go cd, CVE, we got the demo GIF, the readme file, and the vulnerability itself. Of course, if we want to, we can nano the vulnerability file or the Python file, and we can scroll all the way down to see the code of this exploit, and down here we get the usage. So all we need to specify, as it says right here, is the target IP address. Let's try it out. If I go right here and type Python, I believe it's Python 3 once again, and then CVE.py, and then the IP address of the target machine. Before I run it, I will lower the screen so we can see both of our targets before running this program. And right here, if I press enter, well, here it is. We successfully crashed the target machine. It got the blue screen of death, as we can see right here, and it is now restarting. And this is also a critical vulnerability. Once again, I need to mention that you should never be able to crash the target machine just by knowing its IP address. This is something that we would also 100% write down inside of our penetration testing report. Now that we managed to scan the target to see whether it is vulnerable, and we used another tool to crash the target,